Today we are going to talk about making your dog more confident, making your dog happier with brain games. So I bet that a lot of you have heard about brain games. So one of the amazing benefits of brain games is that they have proven that your dog using their brain, so figuring out a puzzle or solving a problem, actually exercises them, makes them as tired as doing actual physical exercise. Not only do brain games exercise our dog, but they also build confidence. So especially for you puppy owners, this is a big one. Building confidence in our puppies is a huge deal. It's something that we definitely want to work on. It just helps them later in life to be less stressed, to be less reactive, to be better behaved, all of the things we want. So we definitely have to work on our puppy confidence. This kind of solving a puzzle where they get the reward afterwards and they feel good about themselves, they actually have a boost in their confidence level, which is a huge thing, a huge deal, right? So confidence is so important that dogs with low confidence will be fearful, they won't want to try new things, and they could get overexcited and reactive. So extra energy and reacting poorly to situations, none of the things that we want as our dogs grow up, right? So we want to kind of evaluate where our dog is. If you have a brand new little puppy, you want to start with really basic games. You don't want to do anything too complicated. You want them to win. If you have an older dog, and you still can start with really basic games so that they get the idea, and then you build from there. I have two dogs, if you don't know me, Sadie and Tessa. And Sadie is usually, she's the older one, she's usually the one that figures out the games really quickly. But the towel game that we're going to talk about, it's so fascinating because Sadie cannot figure it out. And Tessa is like, she just does it every time, opens up the towel, no problem. So it's interesting. You kind of have to learn like what is challenging to your dog as well. So not just like, oh, I'm going to start basic, but then maybe as you change things up, you'll find games that are harder for your particular dog for whatever reason. You also don't want to help them too much. So it's tempting when they're trying to figure it out to kind of help them. Now, if they are getting frustrated or discouraged or it's been a while, you can do a little bit for them. You can show them, hey, this is where the treat is. But then you want to sit back and let them figure it out because it's the process of solving the puzzle that's what we're looking for. That's where the gold is, right? That using their brain to try to figure it out. So let's talk about some of these games. One of the most basic ones is with a muffin tin. I actually brought my muffin tin up here. So you take a muffin tin, any one you have, and what you can do is you put a couple treats in each one or one treat in each one, and then you take tennis balls or balls that you just have around the house and you put them into the muffin tin spots on top of the treat. So when you give this to a brand new puppy, you are probably going to need to knock one of these balls out to let them know what to do, that there's a treat under there, right? And then it's their job to figure out how to get the rest of the balls out. And then if they figure that out, then what you can do is put another layer. So sometimes I'll do this, I'll put the treat, I'll put like a paper towel or something, and then the ball, which gives them like another layer to work on, unless your puppy likes to tear up paper. So then maybe you don't want to reinforce that. It just depends. Cool. So that's a really good basic game that you can play with just things you have around the house. So the next one is the towel roll up. I had just started talking about that. And this is a really easy one. This is a huge hit in my house. You take I take two towels because I have two dogs. You take a towel if you only have one dog, and you just lay it out flat and you just sprinkle a few treats in there. You don't have to do a whole lot, which is great because Sadie is on a little bit of a diet. Don't tell her. We're trying to lose just a few pounds because she's getting older and it's a lot on her knees and everything. So she's not heavy at all. She's just like a few, the vet was like, you're just a few pounds over. So I don't want to give her a ton of treats, even though I'm doing like freeze-dried beef liver, which is so healthy. I actually have them right here if you want to see them. I like these. They're freeze-dried. They're only one ingredient. They're just beef liver, but beef liver is so good for them. So I have to go on a tangent just for a second. I have a certification in natural food for dogs. So liver, so organs, so important to feed your dog organs because they're used to eating the whole animal as wild, if they were wild wolves, right? But liver particularly has a lot of the nutrients that organs have. It's the most nutrient dense of all the organs. So if there is something that you want to add in to give your dogs, like maybe you're doing kibble and you're starting the journey of like, what can I put on the top to make it a little more healthy? Liver is a great choice. And if you don't want to be grossed out by the liver, I used to get the liver from my local farmer. And it's pretty gross. So I now have a food, I do Viva Raw, which has the liver in it already. So I don't have to do it anymore. But you can also put these toppers on that are like freeze-dried liver. Just make sure they're only one ingredient in the treat so you don't put chemicals into your dog's food. Okay, that was my little PSA announcement about the treats. So anyway, I put a few of those liver treats on and I roll the towel up. And then I take it and I make a knot. So use like a beach towel. It's easier to knot it when it's bigger. If we have a brand new puppy, we want to maybe not the towel and just leave it long. So what they have to do is figure out that they have to unroll it to get the treat. Now, my dogs being older and they've done a lot of brain games, I tie the knot actually pretty tight. And yesterday it took them like 15 minutes to get the knot out, and they were so excited, they were so into it, and it helped me exhaust them. Okay, next is the cardboard treasure hunt. So we all have a gazillion Amazon delivery boxes. I'm sure you do. I know I do. I have a pile of them. And what you can do is take the cardboard box, maybe take a few different sizes. You put a couple treats in the box first. You let them learn that, oh, I can go in the box. Maybe they're going to tip it over and climb inside, whatever they decide to do to get the treat. But then you can take the different sizes and put a treat and then put a little bit of a smaller one inside and then put a treat and put a little bit of a smaller one on that. So maybe you have a few layers that then they have to figure out how to get those boxes apart in order to get the treats. My whole goal is to use things that I already have around the house that are safe for my dogs. I don't do a lot of the ones where you have to buy them because I don't like the plastic pieces. I had one, someone gave me one that had like the little drawers and stuff, and like that's fine, but my dog was like chewing on plastic in order to open it. So I like to do stuff with stuff around my house. The next one, this is a great one if you have kids that you're also trying to entertain. You set up an obstacle course. So this is fun. If you have like grade school kids and you give them blankets and chairs and things, and they can make like a little bridge and then an area where they have to climb over pillows, and maybe they hold a broomstick and the dog needs to go under or over the broomstick, depending on whether your dog likes to jump over things. But always make sure that somebody's holding the broomstick. You don't want the broomstick to crash, because what we don't want to do is create a situation where your puppy's like, yay, we're doing this obstacle course, and then something crashes and they're scared. And then they're afraid of this thing that's supposed to be awesome. So make sure someone's holding the broomstick. I speak from experience. And you create some kind of path that your dog has to go through, and then you can lead them with a treat to kind of teach them the first time, and then have them go through for treats at the end. Your kids can change it up depending on how your puppy does, all the things. So you can entertain kids and puppies at the same time. So that's a really good one. Another one that's really good for beginners, and really any level, but this is a good one for beginner puppies. And also good if you have a dog that's at the point where they're not crated or like in their room when you leave the house, is hide and go seek with the treats. So dogs use their nose. That is their dominant sense. And the way we live our lives, we're sight animals, right? Everything we do is about what we see, not what we smell. So we're different from them in that way. So they have been put into this world where sight is the dominant sense. So a lot of times our pets will lose their scent. They will actually lose their ability to use their scent as their eyes as it was intended. So for dogs, that should be their main sense. They kind of see the world through their nose, and it's important for them to have that sense kind of working for them in order for everything in their brain to work correctly. So this is a great game to kind of get their sense of smell going. Hide and go seek with some treats. You have your puppy in another room, and then you just put a few treats in different places, under something, on the chair, whatever level they're at. And you have them come into the room and then use their nose to find those treats. Sounds really basic, but it actually is working really, like working on their psychological state. It's working to help their brain work the way it's supposed to work. So that's a really good one. That's something that I used to do when Sadie was old enough to be just out in the house. When we would leave, I would do that when she was young and she had a lot of energy. So then she would spend, we have a little puppy cam, and she would spend like, I don't know, 20 minutes searching around the house and looking for all the little treats that I put around the house. And then she would go nap because she used her brain. She solved a problem. She used her nose. Everything was working for that 20 minutes. And it's like she had exercise, and then she would feel satisfied and go to sleep. So that's a good little trick once your puppy is old enough to kind of be out and around. But even with you there supervising, it's a fun thing to get them into. The last one that I want to share with you guys today is an outdoor snuffle mat. So you've probably seen those snuffle mats. I didn't bring it upstairs. But they're like fabric, and they have like all the felt fingers, and you put the treats in it. And I actually love those. Those are great. I've made my own before, but they fall apart really fast. So I have to come up with a better way before I teach you guys how to make your own. But I do have a store-bought one that I do love, and I use all the time with them. But I discovered that if I just walk into my backyard, I do have a fenced-in yard, so they are safe back there. I take a couple handfuls of healthy dry food, and I throw it out into the yard. They're out there for a half an hour. It's literally an outdoor natural snuffle mat. They're going through all the grass and finding all those little pieces of kibble or pieces of treats that you have. So that's a great way. Again, they're using their nose. They're out in an outdoor environment. If you have it, you could even do it in the park and just throw them and let them go and hang out and read a book while they do their outdoor snuffle mat. So we're looking for those opportunities for our dogs to feel like dogs, where they're not just lying around all day. We want to make sure that we start to build our repertoire of brain games so that every day they're playing a brain game. And you can see how easy they are. They're so easy to set up. It's not a lot of work. And you're folding laundry or something, and your dog will be occupied and not bugging you for a little while. Those are my brain games. I hope that this is helpful for you guys. I hope that you'll go ahead and grab some things around your house and try a brain game with your dog today, and then just get in the habit of using them as often as possible.